M1 on our way down to Northamptonshire. We are going to the Crick Boat Show. Crick Boat Show started today, but we've actually got tickets for Friday. We are going to stay at a Premier Inn nearby, have a nice meal out this evening, have a lovely breakfast at Premier Inn in the morning, and then head off to Crick to have a look around some boats on Friday. This is our room for the evening. If you've ever stayed in a Premier Inn, you'll recognise the decor. They're all the same, but they're always clean, and it was really handy for what we needed to do. We also had a nice view of the car park, which turned out to be quite advantageous because the alarm kept going off in the car all night, so I could just turn it off from the window. We went out that evening and we did a little photograph that we put on Instagram. This is it, with our beers. Got a reply from Kev. And we ended up spending the night with Kev, having a few beers, and we even met up at the show. If you want to see him on Instagram, that's his little Instagram name. He's looking for a boat at the moment. I joked on an earlier vlog about how going to Crick was a little bit like a massive game of Narrowboat I Spy, where you try to spot as many vloggers as you can. We started really early because we spotted Narrowboat Emerald and had a really good chat while we waited in the line. The line was pretty big, but as soon as the gate was open, because we had our VIP passes and our wristbands, we got straight in. This wasn't the last time, but our paths crossed during the weekend. More about that later. As soon as the gates were open, we bumped into this crew. The crew of Narrowboat Tales and the crew of Life on Board Amy Jo. They were fantastic. It was really great to meet them. They're exactly as you would imagine. In fact, we wish we could have stayed a little bit longer chatting to them, but we booked in at 10:15 for a boat tour.
And here's the boat that belongs to Floating Our Boat, called Laura Maisie. I believe that's after both their mums.
Yeah,
and I just walked along the boat itself. We didn't go inside, but the paintwork was beautiful. Really was a good looking boat, and I did notice that down the front their little Floating Our Boat sign was there, which I pointed out, and it was beautifully decorated in lots of bunting.
Just wanted to get a bit of a
Panorama.
yes.
Those windows that you can't see in, but everybody can see out.
Yeah.
It sort of is a bit futuristic, isn't it?
This was us with window envy. These are triple glazed, and as Stella says, nobody can see in, but you can see out. Nice. Collingwood Boat Builders had quite a lot of boats to display along this stretch. We enjoyed having a look at all of these boats. Some were sailaways and some were fully fitted out. It's a sailaway.
This one.
Yeah, if you look inside.
Free of charge.
And this one was probably the most eco-friendly boat we saw. We parked right next to Colin and Sean from Foxes Afloat and had a quick chat when we arrived. We'd had a 10-hour drive and we were a little bit tired, I think. We then bumped into Captain Gary Phillips, and again, he's exactly as you would imagine. He was great fun. We had a lovely chat with him and Nikki and the kids. The kids have been busy shopping, and we even got to hold one of the dogs. This is the largest tent at Crick with exhibitors inside. We'd just come for a little nosy round, to be honest, but there was things that we'd recognise, solar panels, etc. There was also our marina itself had a stand there, as did quite a few other marinas around the country.
Oh, thank you.
As I was filming, I just randomly put a bag on my shoulder at this point, and it took me a little bit by surprise. Stella has this theory that we could use solar to power our electric car, but I'm not 100% sure we'd just get enough power to do it, to be honest.
Run by the sun.
We came to Crick last year. Our intention was to buy a sofa bed, and we've ended up buying one from the Sofa Bed Barn, which are a British company based in Sheffield. This is their stand this year, or basically in exactly the same place as last year, and we've been really pleased with ours. It is so easy to put together. If you want a sofa bed, they are definitely the place to go.
Oh, sorry.
That's the 3-seater one.
Yeah, won't fit.
Lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
This was the point where I lost Stella. Don't worry, it happens a lot, especially in supermarkets. I don't know how we managed to do it, but every so often one of us goes one way and one goes the other. So don't worry, we do catch up with her later. I spoke earlier about Crick being a massive game of I Spy. For the next couple of seconds, see how many vloggers and even dogs you can spot.
Hello.
We already have a minimalist map on our wall which shows the whole network, but we wanted another one, so we got the Leicester Ring one from Joe, and we also got a piece of their boat, Perseverance, which is a boat which has travelled the entire network. We thought it was apt to put it on a picture of the entire network for a bit of refreshment. If you are going to Crick, bring your wallet because the food and drink is rather pricey. We had a couple of cups of tea, £5, and just watch the world go by.
No, I think it's more of a queue up.
Blink and you miss him, but you might spot Alan from my Narrowboat venture here. We actually had a chat with him earlier. He took our photo, but unfortunately we forgot to take a photo of him. So hopefully he'll put it on his vlog later.
Ooh, food and drink.
Just to nosy.
Yes, why not?
This was the food, drink and craft tent. It was very busy at this point. There was a lot of people jostling for position, but there was an awful lot in here to really take your fancy. I was particularly interested in the cheese stand and took home a rather nice strong cheddar. May spot another YouTube vlogger coming up now. It was Tim from Chugging Along. I had a chat with him later because during the lockdown period, Tim and Sam on their channel did some fantastic quizzes, and I just wanted to thank Tim really for the quizzes that he'd put on and how much fun we'd had with them. They've also created this game called Argy Bargy. We have a copy of it. You can see it on one of our earlier vlogs. And they were there at the show teaching people how to play the game. It is a great game and it's well worth learning, and the more you play it, the more skills you develop, and it can become quite competitive. They were there, and as you can see, we're all there selling the game, and I went over and had a chat with Tim. Yeah, great guy, really nice to meet him. We also bumped into Paul and Anthony. Paul actually did a portrait of our dog Doris, and we just wanted to introduce ourselves and just to thank him for the portrait, because it was an incredible job he did.
At that point, we met up again with Carl and Kath from Narrowboat Emerald and promised ourselves we'd have a drink together, not realising that we wouldn't see each other at Crick again. I think they went home a little earlier than us, and we both spent quite a bit of money. But we did see them, strangely enough, walking down the towpath, coming back from having lunch at the Green Man. And who should be moored up along the towpath in Willington but Kath and Carl, who invited us in for a coffee.
It was a long day, and we ended up in the VIP tent. We are subscribers to Waterways World, and it allows you to go in here and just take the weight off your feet. As we were leaving the VIP tent, we had one last chance of playing the Narrowboat I Spy game, and we bumped into Tony and Jan from Making New Memories with their daughter. We've nearly bumped into Tony and Jan last year. We nearly bumped into Tony and Jan in the morning, and finally, right before we left, we bumped into them. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.